everybody. Welcome to MediaMix, the podcast where we talk about movies, TV shows, and music. I'm your co-host, Nick. And introducing, we have Mason.
Hello.
And then we have Xavier.
Hi.
This is Vicky.
What's up?
And Jack.
What's going on?
How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Good. All right, so we're starting off with kind of more of a safe movie today. We're going to be reviewing a lot of media stuff. The first movie we're starting out with is John Wick. Mostly everybody knows it. It's a story about this man who goes on, this revenge story because his dog got killed. His wife left him this dog, and dog got killed.
Also,
all
his
that
car
happy
got
shit.
Stolen.
Yeah, the car too. But
mainly the dog, though.
Yeah, the
No,
dog
it's
is
mainly
the most.
the car.
The dog is the most important though, because and this is the point that I want to start out with. John Wick is truly a revenge-driven love story. People miss the love story part. It's really a love story because that's the only connection that he had to his wife left, and somebody took that from him. He felt like he had nothing, so he had nothing driving him to go back to the life that he had, but then he actively has somebody take it from him, so he just went on a fucking rampage.
Yeah.
I mean, he killed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The movie's so bad.
And you really do see that in that scene with where they're in he tries to just go and straight up just kill what's his name, Virgo, I think.
Vigo.
Yeah.
Vigo.
What a
He
dumb
straight up
name.
just goes and tries to kill Vigo, and obviously gets captured, and he's in there, and the dude's he's talking to him, and he's talking to John, and John's like, you don't understand, this dog was the last thing that I ever had that was my connection to her, and your son pretty much just came and just killed it, just completely murdered it in the first 2 seconds of me having it. So
yeah,
You talking about the scene where he was captured?
yep.
That's the part of the movie where he really snaps, and I think that's
yeah.
interesting to put the snap at the end.
When he gets captured?
Yes.
Well, yeah, because I feel like that's the first time ever that actually shows his emotion.
Yeah.
He shows
Everything
how,
else
how
is
much
just-
it meant to
yeah.
him.
Because you watch how he kills those people, and they pay very great attention to detail with him.
Oh, yeah.
Because they describe him as a man of focus, but you really watch it in detail. He's looking these people, his target, in the eye until he knows they're dead, and then he changes his focus.
Yep.
And that's all you see up until the part where he gets captured. And I don't know, I think it's just interesting to put the main character snapping that late in the story.
Yeah.
Because, all of this is nothing new to him. He's done a lot worse. And, I think it's just kind of interesting that they put the snap at the end.
I feel like he snapped fairly early. It just was until he had an audience. Because I've clearly had enough to snap when he was digging out all his shit from the bottom.
Oh yeah,
That
when he's
scene was
hitting it with
cool,
the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could really
I love
see
how
the
they
emotion
just
in
subtly
that.
hype up John Wick throughout the entire
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
and it just slowly builds up, and he just becomes this huge menace to his target as the movie progresses. You don't really know who John Wick is when the movie starts. You had no synopsis of the movie before watching it. John Wick's just this dude who just fell out of his car keeping his guts from spitting out of his stomach. And then as it goes on, all these big characters just slowly give exposition to who John Wick really is. And that's what I really like about the movie. It's that fucking nobody was John Wick.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's just going into what John Wick is all about. You know?
And I think it's really cool how much they entice you and get you going and tied to a character who really even over the whole trilogy, you look at it, he does not have that much dialogue himself, but he's the main character, and you learn it all from his actions and what other people tell you. I think that's really cool. I think that's an interesting point.
Especially for me when I first watched this movie. This is my first time ever watching this movie. I really had no idea. I was like, oh yeah, John Wick, just from what I've heard, he's a really cool fucking movie. But my bad. Anyways, just the way that he gets introduced by Vigo in the beginning. He's that dude you killed is John Wick, the man who I sent to do an impossible task.
Yeah, the boogeyman.
The man I sent to kill the boogeyman.
He's the man you send to kill the boogeyman.
Yeah.
That's...
I was wondering the entire time, what the fuck did he do before, getting out?
Well, I think that's really interesting because if you listen to it, it's it says that Vigo says that what they have today, this massive mob that they have, this Russian mob.
It's like a syndicate almost.
Yeah, but he says the reason we are what we are today is because we built on the foundation of bodies that John Wick laid.
Yeah, that kind of I feel like that means that he like had a part in working with them, or like he worked for them in helping clean up messes for them.
Killed
and
some really powerful
help
people.
get them on top.
Oh, yeah.
And
Now-
because of that, he had such a reputation that everyone that was like he was going after were scared of him. They were like that reputation literally had them shaking. So I think that's what made it really interesting to see.
I can't remember if it was in the other movies or if it was in this one, but definitely they talked about the reason why he was able to get out is because he did the impossible task, which is getting rid of all like Vigo's enemies essentially, and that's how he got out. So yeah, so pretty much how their foundation is built upon what he did, and that he has dirt on his hands, he has blood on his hands.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this isn't like a good guy.
No, it's a fucking awful man.
Oh yeah, the funniest part that I saw in the movie was when there was a police officer at his house.
That's one of my
he-
favorite
he was
scenes.
he was like, "Oh, hey John," and he was like, "You doing more work?" And he was like,
Just sorting
"Yes."
some things
He
out.
was like, "Oh, I'll leave you be then," and then he just left.
Good night,
I
John.
wanted
Good
no
night,
part
A
Jimmy.
of that.
police officer, literally an
love all the
official, just
innuendos.
left him with dead bodies all over
Noise
his house.
complaint.
Yep.
But the lore of this world, like the cops know, especially this cop at least, right? And so, what is he supposed to do?
You
Not
can't.
just
You
any cop
can't
who,
do
like,
yeah.
anything to John Wick.
The only thing is like best stay out of his way.
Yeah, that is the best thing to do.
I love all the innuendos in the movie. Like, he used to say, like, "What you up to, John?" You know, I just killed like 12 dudes in my own house. And he's like, "I'm just sorting some things out."
Yup.
And you just understand what he means. He's just like, I can see. And like looks over his shoulder and sees a guy with a knife sticking in his jugular.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll leave you be.
I'll leave you to it.
I don't want to end up like that.
Yeah. No.
I just love how they just talk in innuendos the entire movie.
They all know
Like
who
at
he
the
is.
end with the with the girl, you know, the girl who tries to kill John Wick.
Yeah.
Oh.
And, the
Yeah,
four
in the
guys
hotel?
just come out. Yeah, at the
what's her
hotel.
name?
And then Winston comes out. And he's just like, your membership to the Continental, by thine word, has been revoked.
By thine own hand has been revoked.
Basically meaning, you're about to die, bitch.
Yeah, she just
Well-
gets fucking popped.
Oh
Yeah,
my-
that's because she broke the rule of the
Quadruple
Continental
headshot.
for like not having any business in like the actual.
Didn't John
hotel.
Wick do that by going to that club or something?
That's
was that
the-
in the Continental? or was
no,
that
the
that
club
was,
wasn't
that
in the
was outside of
Continental.
that. Yeah.
Oh.
He breaks Continental rules in the second one, and I can't wait to get to that
Was the
one.
Continental
that was
like
gonna
be
another
fun.
mob?
No, the Continental is like Hitman safe grounds.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to conduct business on the Continental.
That's
because
interesting.
they live by a code. Because
Yeah.
and that shows you something, that even these awful people live by a code.
Oh,
That's true.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
awful people
That's very
break the
cool to
code.
see too. You know.
yeah.
Especially their code of, where they pick up the phone. They're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need a dinner reservation for 12."
Yeah.
Like, and then the currency they use too is those coins.
Mhm.
Like, what is that all about? That's just,
Dude,
that's
the
so
John
cool.
the because
They're
they
actually pirates.
They're their own like thing. They're their own entity, their own nation basically. I mean, it spans all across the world. The John Wick universe is very in depth, and it's very interesting to dive into the lore.
Just wondering who the fuck he goes after in the next movies. That's what I'm really interested in.
I mean, don't
Oh,
spoil
dude,
it
it's-
because
Not
I
gonna
haven't
spoil
seen
it
it.
yet.
It's
but
so
just food for
oh
thought.
my god, I love John Wick. I love it. I also want to point out, y'all know the Allstate Mayhem guy.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
Vigo's right hand
Allstate.
man.
Oh yeah, I know.
He's Vigo's right hand man. The
Oh my
Mayhem
gosh,
guy from
wait,
Allstate.
that's
Yeah,
where
Dude,
I
I
saw
was
him
thinking
from.
that.
yeah. I think that's great.
That's
I think
where I
great.
noticed him
When he was
from.
like by the car with like all those like bruises on him, I was like, wait a second.
Well, and just the
That's like
entire
That's
the
movie.
Allstate.
familiar.
Yeah, I was like, that's the Allstate man.
Oh yeah.
I like how he's like
No, it's not.
basically
He
like
was
the
also
American.
telling Vigo directions, like the GPS commercial.
Don't make me come over there, Nick. I like how he was the American that like he always found himself at the wrong place at the wrong time. And he felt like all this was just kind of happening to him like by pure
Oh, yeah.
coincidence. Like, he was kind of like I'm not even involved in this.
Yep.
Wrong profession, I'd say.
He's
Yep.
like, "Can I leave now?" And you're like, "No, you're not leaving." Virgo's like, "No, you're not leaving."
Watch
and he's
me
like,
beat my son.
"Yeah."
And that's also a weird thing is like the different culture, the Russian culture that they.
Culture of
down.
stealing
That's John
people's
Wick.
cars.
Not even that. He killed the dog.
Yeah, that's
Oh
true.
yeah,
Russian-
that's
Russian culture.
unforgivable. Like I cried when that happened. Not to be a girl or anything, but that's like that really
Not
upset
to be a girl or anything.
I know, but that like
is
it
a girl.
really upset me because every time like a dog dies, I don't know,
But
I
that's-
just
would've
cry.
cried there.
But like when he kicked the dog, I literally like whimpered. Something beside me broke. I was like, no, that's unacceptable.
I had
that's how he
seen
gets
that
you to-
clip before, and I would have cried if I hadn't. But
That's
it still
how-
shook me seeing it the second time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
If I was
director,
John
like-
Wick, I would have snapped. Like that literally is the worst.
Xavier's gonna say something.
Sorry,
Oh.
Xavier.
Well, that's how they like connect you like to the character, because I mean, John Wick again talking about he's not a good guy. We don't know if he's only killed bad men. Like we just know he goes on rampages essentially, and so them killing a dog, we're able to I guess connect a little bit more on like a personal level, emotional level that he is
I mean,
at least a person,
considering
right?
he
Yeah.
worked for those assholes, he probably did fuck
To some degree, right? I mean, he worked with them to get out.
That's something big that I was going to touch on is what the movie opens up with him lying on the ground with all his stab wounds and everything, watching a video of him and his wife and just admiring her. And even the beginning portions of the movie after that, like up until the time where he redigs up his stuff, like it shows you how humane he can be before he just does this absolutely like rampage of just unholiness, bro. Like I think they did a really good job in making you sympathize with his mission and what he is doing.
Yeah.
Another thing that it reminds me of is Cowboy Bebop. Like, because if you think about it, John Wick, all these things that happened to him, like he lost his wife, you know, and got the shit beat out of him in his own house, and got his dog fucking murdered. It's basically he can't escape the consequences of his past. Like the things he's done in the past, like he can't escape it. It's come back to haunt him, and by proxy, he has had to dig up his old life again and go after these people who have, you know, killed his dog. So
I think another big thing about John Wick is it really like does a good job at showing the lifelong struggle of like good and evil in man. Like he strives to do good. He strives, you know, to have a normal, like somewhat good life, try and do good things, but the evil can't escape him, and now he's giving into it. So I think it really it can be a pretty introspective movie when you come at it with that point of view, you know, like applying it to yourself. Like, yeah, we're not all mass murdering hitmen that can take out an entire crime syndicate in a day or two, but we all struggle with good and evil, and I think John Wick does a pretty good job, and if you have that mindset going into it, getting you to reflect on it.
I really liked Lance Reddick being the doorman, like the lobby guy.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Kyron?
your stay.
What's his name? Sharon, some
Something
shit like that.
Actor's name is Lance Reddick, though.
Mhm.
Every time I hear his voice, I can't help but hear Commander Zavala from Destiny.
Oh my gosh.
Is that him?
Yeah, it's him.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
Commander Zavala from Destiny.
That's awesome.
Guardian.
I also think it's kind of cool that they gave him that name Charon, or however the fuck you want to pronounce it, because if you look into the past of Greek mythology, that's the name of the guy who sailed you across the river Styx into the underworld.
Did you look that up?
No, I just love Greek mythology.
What's his name?
Oh damn.
Charon, Charon.
That was the doorman.
Yeah, that's the
wow.
doorman. That's the lobby man,
Damn.
and he runs the Continental. And
In exchange for coins.
in exchange for
Yeah.
coins, yep, because you would give
Oh.
him a gold coin to take you across the river Styx.
Okay, hang on.
That's actually
cool.
kind of cool though.
Yeah, and I love that kind of stuff when they put that amount of detail into it, because you know it's I forget what literary device that's called, but I just think that's very cool, and it kind of shows you how deep in the shit they are. Like this is the underworld.
It's a nice allusion to
Yeah,
Greek mythology.
illusion. That's it.
Yeah, illusion.
That's it. Thank you.
So, I got a question for you guys.
What's up?
So, you know how in the beginning, Marcus is introduced to, like, we're introduced to Marcus, and
Oh,
as
dude,
John,
I love Marcus.
yeah, as John Wick's old friend, like after the funeral. But then
yeah.
Vigo goes to Marcus's house and asks him to, go and kill John Wick for $2 million. And he's like, yeah, consider it done. So was Marcus planning to kill John Wick all along? Or did he just lie to Vigo when he said that he was?
He lied to Vigo.
See, that's what I
He
think.
lied to him to get him off his back, and the reason he shot at him in the across from the Continental is to warn him that Perkins, that's her name,
But-
that Perkins was there to kill him.
Well, I feel
That's
like
the
it's. I
thing.
feel like it's
How-
both. I feel like it's both because, think about it. If Perkins kills John Wick, he doesn't get the bounty, and I feel like that's how it started. He wanted to kill John Wick because $2 million. What the fuck?
I
That's what I'm
disagree.
saying, because
no,
how...
wait. So he wanted, like, when he was there, he didn't even hesitate. He was like, "Is it a private contract?"
Mm-hmm.
So he was interested, But I feel like as time went on, that interest kind of changed, and it changed
no,
from.
I feel like that
think-
question, though. Wait, do you want to go?
Yeah. I think because he like the way he asked that question, I think it's because is it a private contract? Like thinking if it was open, that means he knows other people are gonna go after him. So
Yeah,
if
exactly.
if it was a private one, he'd probably been like, I don't know. But since it was open, he was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, he
trying
got
to, like,
got
see-
Vigo off his
trying to-
back,
trying to
and
see,
he
yeah.
was
Thinking
still in
about
John
it,
Wick's corner.
Marcus is older than John Wick.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, wasn't Marcus the one that trained John Wick? Because they
I
were
don't-
both. Remember when Marcus was being murdered, and he said you were the last of the old guard. That's
Yeah.
also John Wick. So
Yeah.
he was in there longer than John Wick. He was probably the one who trained him as well. So,
But
and also I feel
They
like
definitely have a
um,
deep past.
yeah,
I don't
they
know
do.
if he trained him.
Oh
but
yeah,
they
he
probably work
was just
alongside
checking
each
up
other.
on a pallet in the beginning of the movie.
But
at
hang
the,
on.
This
cemetery.
isn't like Ra's al Ghul, Batman, like Dark Knight stuff.
I don't like DC. I don't get that reference.
Oh, okay. Well,
Anyways,
Hot take. Sorry.
Oh,
In
and
the-
then we'll have to talk about.
in that Continental scene where he's setting up his sniper and everything,
Mhm.
how did he know that the woman was going in there to kill him before he kind of just sat there, scoped it in? You saw him.
I think he
scoping
was
in-
just watching though,
Yeah.
Yeah.
making sure.
Yeah,
So remember,
but
he had his-
how did
he
he
had his
know at that
sight trained on
exact
him.
moment? Because John Wick was in the Continental for
Well,
a couple nights.
We have no No, that was his first night there.
I know, but thereafter
We have no-
he was there for a couple.
We have no
nights.
exposition before that. We don't know if Marcus has been watching over him since Vigo told him about the contract, which I would assume he
was
did.
because
He
when you
was.
see him entering the Continental for the first time, he's at a donut stand getting some fucking donuts.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice
Yeah,
that.
no,
Yeah.
he was
So
there.
then-
he
so
was
then,
just
yeah.
witnessing it, yeah.
So then, yeah, he's been
But
watching over him.
Notice that he had his sight trained on John Wick.
That's
he
the
was
thing.
going to kill him.
No,
he
I
had
don't-
it
And then-
trained.
No,
You don't think so?
no, I know not. I know so.
Perkins came in and he noticed Perkins and he shot.
He shot the
Pillow
pillow.
Wake
If
up
if he
John Wick.
really wanted to kill John Wick, he would have done it right then and there and gotten that $2 million. He
Well,
would not. He would
he
not
wouldn't
have
have done
faced.
it there though.
No, but
Because
he
would
would.
have broken the Continental rules.
No, he wouldn't have because
Well,
he's not on continental grounds.
It would still
so it
break
doesn't apply to
Continental.
him.
I think
On
it'd still
business,
break the
yeah.
rules. Yeah, because
It's still
he's-
business on the ground.
That building is meant for you're supposed to be safe in that building,
Yeah.
no matter where.
Oh.
And that's what at least that's what I think. You're
But I
supposed
think
to be
I think it's
safe
like
in that
that.
building.
Well,
That being
Marcus
said-
Marcus had plenty of opportunities to
Yeah.
kill
If
him.
he had killed John Wick at the Continental, Perkins would have taken the credit for it, wouldn't she? Because he's on the other side of a building.
No, because
And then
Marcus
he
probably
wanted-
would have popped Perkins too.
Yeah, and I don't
Then that
know
would
if you'd
break
want to
Continental
take
rules, wouldn't
credit.
it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that break Continental rules?
Well, Perkins didn't care about breaking
yeah,
continental rules.
she obviously got murked for it.
Not to
Yeah.
talk about the
Yeah.
second movie, but have you guys seen it?
I haven't. No.
I have.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've
no one would
only
want to
seen
take
what Schneider was talking
credit
about.
for
Where, like you watch
that.
him,
No.
you watch the clips on YouTube of him killing everybody to like BFG division.
hmm
That's it. I haven't seen any plot.
I think through the first viewing of the John Wick, I would say that yeah, you could probably think that Marcus would be out to get him, but like on the third,
That's what I
fourth,
thought.
fifth viewing of it, like you're like no, he's clearly trying to like protect him.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously see that when he saves him, when he's in the when he's
Yeah.
captured and about to get killed or suffocated by that plastic bag. But I had no
Of all
idea.
Yeah,
things
he
to take him out.
He could have killed him there. What?
You can give me your son, or you could die screaming alongside him.
See, I don't know how John Wick kind of just knew he was gonna get out of that situation alive. Like, did he know Marcus was gonna come and have his back?
I
or-
don't
No,
think so.
but
I think
No,
he
John
probably
Wick just
there.
has
It's
that
not-
much resolve.
If Marcus wasn't there, the movie would have just ended.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I think John Wick would have found a way out of it. But
don't-
I
He
do,
was
I do,
near death right
I
there.
do want to talk about what Vigo did to Marcus because it shows a lot about who Vigo is. Vigo was mad at John Wick, but he knew he could not get that man.
Stop him, yeah.
Yeah, so he took it out on Marcus, blamed him for his son's death, all this shit.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
But Marcus is the only one that could probably have touched him.
Yeah.
Who?
That's-
John Wick?
Yeah.
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 And so that's the thing. He's like, you were like his pretty much only shot at that.
Yeah, but like at the same time,
It isn't a good move, but
yeah, it's kind of excuse my French, it's kind of pussy of him to do that. Like take it out on Marcus.
Bro. Marcus gave John Wick the most amazing plot armor in any movie ever.
How
Because
so?
he would have died like twice over if not for Marcus. The movie would have ended like an hour into the movie.
Well, I mean, the movie's focused on John Wick, so we know he's not gonna just die in the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
And one of the middle scenes, like, what else is the movie gonna be on?
especially
Yeah, that's why it's
you haven't
stupid.
watched all three yet, or so it's like they die in the
Yeah,
first
it's like,
movie.
wow, there's a John Wick 2 after this, and a 3, and a 4.
It's about Marcus.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be there's 3
Right.
movies out,
Raising
and
John
I'm pretty
Wick.
sure they're gonna make 3 more. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be 6 John Wick.
Wow.
Wow.
Like a prologue, I bet.
This is
Or not a
like James Bond, where they just keep
prequel.
adding more.
No, like John Wick's gonna have an ending, but like I can't wait to get into the next ones.
I want to get on about that though. How there should probably be a prequel to kind of like determine like what
definitely.
like John
that would
Wick
be
was,
awesome.
or
Yeah.
like even
Well,
at
that
least
would
show
be
the
cool.
job that he did.
Yeah.
that would. I know it's kind of like those things from like Star Wars talking about like, oh, well, like it's kind of like I did this thing. Don't worry about it. And then they show it in Solo, and you're like, all right, well, I don't want to ever see that ever again.
Yeah.
Make
but-
it good.
Yeah, but if we saw like John Wick literally take out like 100, 200 people or so, right, in one night, like that would be a pretty good movie.
Well, there's always a possibility. I mean, I think they'll do it because, like I said, I'm pretty sure there's 6 or 7 more planned to come out. So, like,
They should do it before Keanu gets any older.
well, yeah.
Keanu's immortal, so it's fine.
Dude,
That's
I
true.
fucking love Keanu Reeves.
He's been alive since the 1800s
How old is he again?
He's in his mid to late
212.
40s.
or something like that.
He's younger than my dad.
Oh,
I know that. My dad's 60.
yeah, but all those moves that he does,
You have an
like
old
that's
dad.
that's tough on him.
I have
I
an
got an old dad
80-year-old.
too. It's okay.
I have an 80-year-old neighbor, and he boxes in his garage every day.
like
He's,
beatboxes.
No, yeah, you beatbox like. I'm never doing that again. That's the only time. That's the only time.
I'm gonna get him to do that every single podcast.
But no, my neighbor, he's like 80 years old and he's fucking ripped. He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but less beefy. He's like super healthy. Probably do all these crazy gymnastic moves.
Well, yeah, you can definitely be fit when you're older. It's
Oh
not,
yeah, totally.
It's not
Also-
anything that's
Yeah, I don't
outside-
know
that's
what.
like
It's gonna be like Keanu Reeves. He's gonna
Also,
be
I think-
80 and still doing John Wick movies.
I think another reason that the movie did so well is because they like the time and training that the actors went through to be in these roles. Like Keanu didn't. I correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he had any stunt doubles.
He did, but he did like 90% of the
Yeah,
work.
he did like most of the shit.
He had stunt doubles for all the times
Like
he
for
got shot.
for the times that he fell and shit. I think.
Have you guys seen the video of him at the shooting range?
Yes, that's what I'm talking
I've
about. The
not.
video of him at the shooting range. That shit is fucking ridiculous. Oh my god.
What's the video?
He literally it's him at a timed range with a little timer, and he goes through and he clears the entire thing at like record time.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's fucking bonkers, bro.
I mean,
But he's been training this stuff for like since like the Matrix.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He's been doing all these kind of like
The martial arts, yeah. He's been going through that shit since like a movie before that. I forget the name of it, but like it was an
Wasn't it
old
the
school.
one with like the girls or whatever?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And he fought this like master kung fu artist in China or some
Oh.
shit,
I don't.
and like he trained vigorously
I think we're
for
talking
that
about different
role.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
My dad has a painting somewhere of I know kung fu, and then Morpheus is like, show me. I have to go like find it or something.
Dude,
He
I
knows
can't.
gun fu.
I can't wait to get to the second movie. Morpheus is in the second movie.
I will
He
be
is?
honest,
Yeah.
His action
Oh, yeah, that's
does
right.
make up for his subpar acting. I will
Who's?
be-
Did you just say Keanu Reeves acting was subpar?
Yeah,
I will admit-
I can agree.
What?
It's a little.
Okay, listen. It's hard to convey a character when you don't have many lines, and I think he portrayed that very well.
No, he did a fantastic job
Do you
in
mean
John
like?
Wick
Do you mean like
series.
overall acting?
Yes, I'll say overall.
What? Have you seen Speed?
Speed's good.
Speed is so fucking good. Oh my god, he did so
seen
good in
Speed.
Speed.
Have you seen him in the Coca-Cola commercial?
I don't watch TV. I didn't know he did a
No,
Coca-Cola
from the
commercial.
90s. When he was like first started acting, that's how he got into acting.
I did not know that.
It's because he went to a Coca-Cola commercial and it's him, and he like drank. I think it was like 14 or 15 bottles of Coke.
Oh my god.
And he's like going on, and it's like, you can win the Olympics. And he's like, thanks, Dad, and he downs an entire bottle of Coke.
I fucking love Keanu Reeves. His acting is not subpar. I will fight all of you.
Have you watched
there were
Bill
just
and
some.
Ted's Excellent Adventure?
No.
Really?
It's a good movies. Even the new one is good, but yeah,
It's not
I
a
think
perfect movie.
I choose to believe that Keanu Reeves acting is not subpar.
in Cyberpunk it was okay.
Bro, Cyberpunk was a shit
Impre-
game. We're not even gonna
impressive
go
cock.
there. We're not even
We'll,
gonna go
we'll
there.
talk about it
They
eventually.
refunded billions of dollars for that game, but we're
Good.
getting off track.
Anyway,
Impressive cock.
What the
Why?
fuck?
That's what he says.
The fucking
That's
what?
That's his only line in Cyberpunk, right? It's
I
like,
will
he's
have to
like-
cut that out.
He's in the
No,
car,
we're
he's
not.
like, impressive.
I'll
You
put
know.
that clip up.
yeah,
we'll just cut that
Hey,
clip.
clip that.
If you're watching, impressive cock, bro.
Oh my
Stop.
god.
Stop.
Please.
We'll start doing
What?
live streams on Twitch, and we'll take that voice line and we'll
That'll be
have
the
that
donation.
as a
That'll be the
donation
donation
sound.
snippet.
Yes, please.
Keanu Reeves is here. Whoa.
I like the.
Keanu Reeves acting is not
You guys
subpar.
seen the one interview with Keanu Reeves where the people interviewing him don't believe it's him, and they're getting all mad and shit. They're like, "Yeah, it's me, guys." Like, no, it's not. You're not fucking Keanu Reeves. And then the entire time Keanu Reeves explaining why it's him, and they're like, "Yeah, you're not fucking Keanu Reeves." And he's like, "Well, I did all this shit." And then he's like, "I am Keanu Reeves."
I have not seen that.
And then the
I have not
interview
seen
people
that.
are like, "Oh shit, that's Keanu Reeves."
The one
I ca-
thing that I love, like, I'll just say this, like, about him as far as, like, him as a person and him as a professional, I'll put quotes around that, is the picture of him running away with the paparazzi's camera, like, full sprint. And just, like, it's some dude, he's, like, in LA, and he's just, like, full sprint. And the
I love when
paparazzi is trying to, like,
celebrities
catch up
mess
to him.
with paparazzi.
Yes.
It's so funny
Toby
watching them.
Toby
just,
Maguire fucking snapping on the paparazzi. One of my favorite.
They
Oh,
deserved
yes.
They did.
What
I
happened
can't
with
see the
that?
fucking car. Get the fuck out of the way.
Shut the fuck up!
you guys
We-
know a
we
lot
got
more about
so
Keanu Reeves
off
than I
track.
do.
Oh, I fucking love
Oh,
Keanu
yeah,
Reeves.
same.
He's one of my favorite actors.
I think he's very wholesome.
It's kind of hard.
but-
to
He
miss. Yeah,
is.
he's pretty wholesome.
And I think it's great that they took such a wholesome guy and made him this murderous fucking entity. I don't even know what to call him.
Nick, can you look up
An
when
assassin?
Baba
the
Yaga.
first John Wick movie came out?
It was
2014.
2014.
Alright.
It was like
2014?
2014.
2014.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. She knows it.
It's because I saw it on when
Yeah.
I watched it.
I watched it
The
on
Last of Us
Peacock.
came out
Not a
before
sponsor.
Same.
Keanu
It's free.
slander.
I guess to go
Reeves.
back about the relationship between John Wick and Vigo.
Vigo.
Yeah, Virgo.
Vertigo.
Yeah, your dad.
They have a cute
Um,
relationship.
So at one point he like burns all of his assets, like all of his money and stuff, and goes to the bank,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And it's a cool scene, personally, just because he doesn't take any money. He's not looking for any kind of leverage or any kind of like
No.
benefit out of that. It's just he's on like a rampage. He's like on this vengeance, and essentially that dog wasn't. It wasn't. I feel like even about the dog. It was the dog was more of a symbol.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
yeah.
symbol of his
definitely.
wife. Yeah.
His wife, his humanity.
Yeah.
His life that he had,
Mhm.
which I mean, ultimately he just like destroyed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So he's back in that game. This is him coming back out of like how long? Do we know how long he was in retirement for?
4
4
years.
years.
Right, well, okay.
Only 4 years.
Yeah.
That's what people were
Because
saying at the hotel.
yeah, he got out of it and
no,
his
it
wife
was actually
he,
like 5 years and something months. or
5 years
something
and
like that.
change.
That's
That's,
what- yeah.
exactly what he said to
In
Perkins.
2
That's
hours and 20 minutes.
What? Where did we get 4 years from? Somebody said
Someone
4
said
years.
4 years, and he
Presidential
probably
election.
changed it to 5 and
But
change.
I do want to go back to what Xavier was saying. The dog being a symbol of his humanity and everything. I think it's a cool, very cinematic thing. How they showed him burying the dog, and then immediately after, even with all the cutaways to the exposition from the other people like Vigo, it immediately goes in John Wick's perspective from him burying that new life that he obtained, like the last piece of it. So he has to dig up his old life, so he has something to live for.
Dude,
Mhm.
can we just talk about how messed up that was? Like,
The dog and everything.
after how obviously they killed the dog. That was terrible. But then when he woke up, like they put the dog right,
Oh
like
my
they
God.
dragged.
Yeah, they
the dog
taunted him.
No, I don't think.
and
No,
put it right in front of his.
I don't think they
face.
dragged the dog. I think the dog like crawled to him.
Oh my
think
God,
so?
that is so
That's
sad.
even worse.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
what?
so sad. He was just laying next to the dead dog's body, and I literally, my heart was breaking.
You look like you're about to cry.
It's a touchy subject.
So the
Whenever
dog was
dogs
still-
in movies die, I just feel extremely emotional.
Oh, we got the train going by.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck is that? Dude, I thought a black
Earthquake.
hole opened up.
Earthquake.
Holy shit.
Anyways.
I thought we were going into the shadow realm.
Anyways, just imagine waking up after getting, just getting beaten up and seeing your dead dog sitting right there looking at you. It's terrible.
Mhm.
That in itself, like after, the fact that they, murked my dog,
Yeah, and
would enrage me even
Get
further.
wrecked, kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's very demoralizing.
and
It
it
is.
even showed him
All
petting
for a
the
car.
dead dog.
Well, and what was his name? What was the kids'
Isoff.
names?
Ice off.
Isoff.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yusuf.
Yosef.
Yosef.
Yusuf.
I
Yosef.
Yusuf.
Ice off or something like that. It's pronounced weird. It's Russian.
Yusuf.
It was like Joseph, but Yosef.
Yosef.
But
Some shit like that.
he
No
he wants
offense,
his
Russians.
car, and I
Dumb
feel like
asshole.
what?
Dumb
That's his
asshole.
name.
Oh, okay. To where he kills the dog, but he doesn't kill John Wick. Obviously, he doesn't know who John Wick is. He doesn't know who he's about to like get entangled with. But he's clearly not like a mobster. He's like the son. He's like pretending to be. That's why he's willing to kill a
Yeah.
dog, but not a person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and yeah, it is. I guess for a car, I guess for like some sort of like
No, but
bully
It's
sensation.
to like get back at him because he said,
Fucking
"Hey, you can't
poser.
have this car. It's not for
Who-
sale."
who also is like, you know how he's like, hey, somebody shut that dog up. Who's like their first instinct is like, okay, boss wants me to shut the dog up. Let me go kill it. Like, you
Well, what
could've
else
just-
are you gonna do?
I don't know, put it in a closet or
Slit its
something.
throat.
The
Like,
dog isn't gonna shut up.
Put
put
it
it
in oven.
downstairs. Like, you're only there for like 2 minutes. Like, you put
And
it
no,
downstairs
I'm
or
not
something.
condoning the killing of dogs. I'm just speaking on these
Nor
people's
do we
point of view.
condone cooking.
They're
Okay,
Russian
any-
mobsters who
Like
run
Dude,
the city.
Russian mobs are blah. If I was any of that, bro, I'd still like, all right, come here, dog. I'm gonna take you
Well, that's-
downstairs
that's
into
what-
the-
that's what you think.
upstairs into the bathroom. Just throw you in there or whatever. You'll be fine. Or whatever. I'm not gonna
Give
kill
him
the
some kibble.
dog.
Obviously, John Wick probably wouldn't have gone to the same extent if they didn't kill his dog.
Probably.
Even if they stole his car, even if they beat him up, obviously wouldn't have gone to the same extent
Yeah.
if he killed, obviously then killing the dog. But do you think would he still have gotten some sort of revenge, or like still kind of like contacted his dad, Vigo, and been like,
No.
hey, buddy, like beat your son up for me real quick? Like,
I feel like there
No,
would have been a
I feel like-
contact.
or do you
I
think he
feel
just
like-
would have stayed out of it completely?
I don't think he would have stayed out of it. I think he would have walked up in there and told Vigo, "This is what your son did. Fix it and give me my car back, or you're gonna fucking regret it."
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what I feel like.
But he
would've
still
done.
has that connection with the dog, if it was presumed alive still, right?
if
They
he
didn't
if
kill
they didn't
it.
kill the dog.
Yeah.
He wouldn't
Do you
kill.
think he would have just been like, you know what? It's been a long day. I get it.
No, I wouldn't think he would be like, I get it, but I definitely think he would. He wouldn't go. I don't think he would go as far to the extent that he did. Obviously when they killed his dog, but I still think he would have done something. Like maybe even like I don't know if you just said it, Mason, but how you just go and be like, look, Vigo, your son just came and beat the crap out of me and took my car. Like you know who I am. Give me my car
Like,
back.
yeah, you know what I can do.
Yeah.
You know what I can do. Give me my car back. Teach your son a lesson.
Yeah.
And we'll split paths and never see each other
Beat
again. I
your
think that's.
son.
But that would have been the extent of it,
Yeah.
as far as we can presume, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think
don't.
so.
I don't think he would have went on a rampage
Yeah.
like he did in this whole movie.
because
you know?
the car wasn't the main focus. That's not. The dog was like Keanu Reeves' lifeline at the moment, because that was his only form of peace.
Yeah, that was his soul tether.
As long as he has that form of peace and that relationship with the dog, the car doesn't really matter that much to him.
Yeah, he got a new car.
Can I
15 minutes.
Continental
into
gave him
it.
a new
Can
car.
I also talk about something badass that happened towards the beginning of the movie when he got the dog? So you know how Vigo's talking about? I saw him kill 3 men in a bar
Oh,
with
yeah.
a fucking
Of
pencil.
course.
So but if you think about that and then you go back a little bit and you watch when he got the dog, he keeps the pin, because he didn't answer the door with a weapon, but he can turn anything into a weapon. He didn't know who that was or what was going on.
That's a good
so
point.
he kept that pin on him, so in case something happened, he would have a weapon.
That's a good point.
Dang.
So like that's I feel like that's also back to one of the points that I made in the first part.
You would have probably stabbed the woman.
Yeah, the lifelong struggle of good and evil.
Yeah.
Like that shit's popping through. Like he still has that in the back of his mind. That's still a person that he is. But, you know, it's just not as much. Cuz people can change. I do believe that.
Yeah.
But you killed the man's dog. You're fucking dead.
Yeah,
So
I think throughout this whole movie, it's about, I mean, obviously about his dog. We could talk about, you know, John Wick and stuff or whatever, but, like, I think throughout the lore of this movie, it's a lot about respect. Whether you have it or not, you know, kind of thing. You can beat someone else up, but as long as you kind of respect. And they clearly didn't. Here's the train again.
Yeah, that fucking scares me every time.
Shouldn't have said that. Just let everybody think it's like just something weird happening.
Well, now they know. I
I'm
think you said
hungry.
it.
My
Yeah,
stomach
you said
is
it
rumbling.
So clearly, like, throughout all his murders, he still has a code. Like, he'll still, like, it with the bouncer, right? Before he got into the club, he was like, you know, how many people are in there? And if you, like, let me know kind of thing, I'm, like, go home.
Yeah, take the night off.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that was pretty badass.
that was cool.
Let me in or I'll shoot you in the head. No, he's like, take the night off.
It was so formal too. He's like,
Yeah.
go home. He's
Well,
like, thank
yeah,
you,
the
sir.
And being
Right.
formal, too, the assassins that came into his house were wearing suits. They weren't wearing tactical gear.
No.
Like, they were...
No, they were wearing balaclavas or whatever.
They had masks on,
well,
didn't they?
yeah, but not like
But they were
like
still
SWATs, you know.
they were
like,
still suave.
That's like the
they
mafia,
they
though, right?
carried themselves.
They sent 12 Agent 47s to his house,
Oh my gosh.
and he murdered all of them.
They
I
got
I
fucking-
hated
were there
the
12
scene.
of them?
Yes,
This is
there were
about-
12.
Dude, I hated the scene where he was like stabbing the guy. He was like wrestling with the knife, and then he's like got the knife over his neck, and he's just like like sledgehammering it into the guy's jugular. That made me cringe because the guy was still alive even after like the first 2 hits.
Yeah.
That just kind of shows his
That would
resolve.
suck. That would suck so
shows how much focus he has.
bad. It would suck to grapple with Keanu Reeves because he'd fucking kill you.
in an instant.
John Wick or Keanu Reeves?
Both. Like if you got into a grapple fight with Keanu Reeves, your life is over.
Yeah, I would not.
Well, I feel like
I would not hedge my
Keanu
bets.
Reeves might give you a little bit of leeway.
Not
Wick
if-
won't.
not if you're fighting to
Okay,
the
if
death.
if you pissed off Keanu Reeves to the extent that John Wick got pissed off, and he was like trying to kill you, do you think you would be able to win a grapple fight with Keanu Reeves?
No,
I would-
neither one. I just think I'd get more mercy from Keanu Reeves.
I would
than
not want
Probably.
to fuck with Keanu
But-
Reeves while he was filming John Wick.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
Keanu
he
Reeves
got,
is a
like-
very humble man too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think he like what's like that method of like acting where like beforehand you're like
Yeah, it's method
completely-
acting.
Okay, yeah, completely in character.
Yeah.
You think that's what he's doing?
Oh, 110%.
Do
You
we
could-
know?
I'm pretty sure. With all the training that he did and everything, I'm pretty sure he did a lot of method acting with that character.
Kind of have to.
I thought you were about to say he did a lot of meth.
No, that was Heath Ledger. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Dude,
I'm kidding.
Keanu Reeves looks
Fucking
so good
love
for
Heath
doing so
Ledger.
much meth.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. He hasn't done any meth, guys. I'm
Yeah,
just
we're cutting that.
you have to cut that.
You got any
Um,
more points?
Not really. But like, so how did you guys feel about the movie though overall? Because I mean, I personally think the series overall is pretty good. But how do you
Yeah.
guys feel as far as just the first movie in general?
It wasn't. I'm not gonna praise it and say it's the best movie because, in my opinion, it's
I will
not.
beat your ass.
I'm still of the opinion that Keanu Reeves' acting like wasn't the greatest, but that's not what carried the movie. That's not what carried the movie, right?
Well, Keanu Reeves still carried the movie.
depression story and like you were saying, like the hidden the hidden themes of the movie being like romance were good, and I appreciate stuff like that. But also the action was like on point. Like the action was amazing. You know, you can see the work that they put into the action, like Keanu Reeves training how to like use firearms and how to like do close quarters combat. Like it really shows, and I appreciate stuff like that. The action was amazing.
You're kind of going into this movie expecting pretty much only
But-
action.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty
It is
good
an action movie, and it does that tremendously well.
Yeah.
But
The development of the plot for the movie, it was really interesting because in the beginning it showed a more gentle side of him, the getting of the dog and becoming attached to it, and you know, feeding it that bowl of cereal in the beginning because he didn't have like kibble for the dog was I don't know. It just it showed a sort of soft spot. He was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I need to feed this dog," but then the development of how the dog was killed by the gang, and so how he went through that depression of falling,
Can dogs
losing
drink,
himself, and
Can dogs drink milk?
Ye-
yeah, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they can.
So they can
But
have cereal. No?
Thought you were
Going
about to
back,
ask if they
yeah,
could
but
drink,
going
like,
back,
alcohol.
the
I think
how
that
he
would give
fell.
the dog massive shits. Hershey squirts.
It's fucking
Dude.
hilarious seeing a dog drunk.
I'm sorry, viewer. I didn't mean to go off like that.
Anyways, but the way he fell off of his his insanity, like
Sorry,
he
you good?
slowly dropped down as the development of the movie. It was very very put together in my eyes, and I liked how they went through how each part of the movie of him killing people slowly descended into his craziness at the end, and when he finally crashed into that animal shelter to patch himself up, the getting of the other dog, when he saw the dog whimpering, he was like, "Hey, it's okay, we're going home now." I think that was a excellent development of it and how they brought it all
That was
together.
the most convenient place for him to crash his car at the end of the movie.
Can I touch on the dog thing?
Mm-hmm.
He chose that dog because it was the only dog not whimpering. If you look at the dog in the first one, it's his soft spot. It's his humanity thing. He got this dog because it's a big bad pit bull, and it symbolizes more of the dark side of his life.
I thought it was whimpering.
No,
No,
that
it
was the
wasn't?
only dog that was not making any noises, that wasn't begging him or anything. That's why he chose that dog,
yeah.
because it shows the same resolve as him.
That's what I'm saying. It's a very good development of the plot because it shows his genuine humanity in the beginning of the whimpering dog and taking care of it, and then at the end, like you said, the dog wasn't whimpering, and he was like, "Okay, I'm taking this one. This one's mine," because it was how it was gone, his humanity, and how it went away during the movie.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think the movie handles exposition or relies too much on exposition?
What does that even mean?
Especially with
I feel like
it's when
Like
it's
the
basically
setup.
when like a character just like, you know, spews out a whole bunch of context so you understand what's going on.
it's a very simple story.
Basically
So it's
tell
not like
rather
they
than
really had
show.
to like, you know, like the big bad guy had to like really tell us his plan and all this. You know, it was just very like,
It was straightforward.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
no,
I
you
feel like
could
they did
gather
a good
the
job. I feel
text
like
very easily.
I feel like they handled the show don't tell part very well. You know,
I mean, there's a lot of
times where, they
subsurface
could've-
like lore.
Yeah, they could have explained a lot of things, but they didn't because it adds to the mystery. You know.
Or some of it just doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
we're going
Yeah,
into this
some of
world
it
that
also
like
just doesn't
almost they're expecting us to have already known, even though we don't.
I personally, I kind of wanted to wait until everybody else was done talking because I know I'm very opinionated. I feel like the whole movie was exposition. And usually you see other movies doing that and you're like, oh my God, this is dragging on. This is taking forever, blah, 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 blah. I feel like this movie did that extremely well. The exact opposite. Oh, I want to watch more. I want to watch more. And I just think the entire movie as a whole was a fucking fantastic movie. It set up the John Wick universe. It set up who John Wick was, and it gave very surface level exposition while also giving you enough to know what he is capable of and who he is. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. That's why I suggested we do this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love
Yeah,
this movie.
that was the first time I've ever watched that movie too. Like I've always seen, little snippets and heard about the movie and heard about how good it was. Even my dad saw it, and he usually doesn't like movies like that, but he was like, "Oh yeah, the John Wick movie is just amazing." And yeah, when I that was my first time watching it, is when I watched it last night, and it was definitely amazing. It blew me away. I liked the plot, I liked the story. It had just enough action in it for me. The different camera angles, the different scenes, especially of him going through the nightclub and just completely just killing all of those people.
So being as it's a movie from 2014 and you're just now watching it like last night, right?
Mhm.
How does that kind of like, I guess, stand against movies that are coming out now?
Yeah, how does it hold up?
Honestly, I think it holds up great, if not a little bit better. I mean, you can't really compare it to, like, I haven't really seen an action movie that's just come out recently, other than Tenet, that's kind of like that.
Nobody.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen. I want
That's
to.
kind
I
of
wanna
that's
see
what I
it
was
really
kind of
bad.
talking about. I
But-
think John Wick sets a new template for like action, like depression movie.
It definitely
But
does.
like-
for back in 2014, that was a good movie. That was an amazing. That was just a really good overall movie that was shot.
Has anybody seen the Bourne movies, the Jason Bourne movies?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I have not.
Well, if once we get a microphone, we'll get you in here.
Really
Schneider is being excluded. No,
I
I'm
really
kidding,
wish
I'm
Schneider
kidding.
could be in the conversation.
Listen.
Well,
Okay.
but so have either the rest of you seen the Jason Bourne movies?
No, I actually
No.
haven't.
Good. All right. Well, that's what I
I'm so
wanted.
sorry.
Like, I haven't either, because that's what I wanted
Oh.
to like ask if they were like held against the same like kind of like. All right.
Yeah,
we're
'cause the
getting a
Jason-
no from Schneider.
The Jason Bournes are newer, right?
I think late 90s.
Oh, nice.
But
I'm so sorry.
as far as like for
No holds barred.
for like action, they're super clunky. One of the scenes in one of the Jason Bourne movies is known as like the most horrid as far as like how action goes. It's an awesome movie. Like the story is cool. Like it's got some
But the
really
action
memorable
was
moments,
bad?
But it's super choppy and it gives you a headache.
That's
Oh.
something else that I really wanted to talk about is the way that they did cinematography in that movie. Because
It's very fluid.
Yeah, it's
True,
very,
true.
very smooth. Nowadays, you just see immediate cuts and this and
Yeah.
that. You had
Shaky
some,
camera.
shaky cam,
I hate
shaky
shaky
cam.
camera.
Oh my God, it's so common. But in a 2014 movie, in a 2014 action movie, they had whole action sequences that were one fluid take sometimes. And like that's fucking amazing that you're able to put that much action in there and not cut away and just be consistent with that, because that holds up throughout the entire what we have out so far.
Real quick, I don't know if you guys noticed this. As far as speaking into Vigo's son, right? God, I don't remember his name. But they're in the
Nice
club,
off.
and speaking of, I'm
Yusuf.
gonna go with Yosef. Yosef, whatever.
Yusuf.
Vigo's son. And in the club, whenever they like cut to him, the camera would be very shaky. You know, he's running away, he's scared, right? And every time they cut back
Yeah.
to John Wick, it was very smooth. It was very like in control of the
Oh,
situation, and it was. I feel like in a sense, even trying to like scare the viewer a little bit.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it
Like, how
definitely
much-
gave us a sense of the fear that he was going
Like
through,
dread.
because there was this. It portrayed John Wick as this like moving object that is just like pushing forward and.
Immovable object.
Yeah, and you can't escape it. And it showed the Yusuf running away, and he was in a towel, and he was frightened. You saw in his facial expressions, he was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to
Especially
die,"
when, like,
and
the
he
car
was
showed
running
up to
for
pick
his
him
life.
up. You saw he was like walking all over the place. He was like getting staggered almost.
Yeah.
Trying to wait for the car to stop and
Mm-hmm.
get in. He was like, "Ooh, hey, open the door!" And then
Yeah, almost like he was dying to
He's,
be
like,
saved.
losing his-
He
he was, like,
literally
losing
was
his
like,
shit.
"I need to get out of here."
What about that scene
Man said,
when
I'm not scared of the boogeyman.
when they bust through
Yeah,
that
right.
shelf, right? And like John Wick's on the
Yeah.
floor, and he pretty much like gets the guy down, and he puts his gun and takes him out. Then he
Oh,
he
yeah.
pretty much he looks at his son Yusuf. I think that's his name. I keep forgetting.
I don't
Yusuf.
think he saw him like eye to
No,
eye.
no, no,
No,
he was
was
he-
back there.
straight
He
at
just
No,
had
no,
him
no, no.
on
He
sight.
stared at
He
him.
made
and
eye contact.
Yeah, he
Did?
took that guy
Oh.
out and just looked at him. And
That-
that's when that kid knew. He was like, all right, I'm like.
That was
Like this isn't a joke anymore.
Yeah.
and I think that's why they did it, because that shows his focus and his resolve.
He definitely could have
Like,
just.
Also,
taken
he,
it out, but he didn't do it
wants
then.
to savor the hunt. 'cause
Yeah, he wanted
wants
to scare him.
He wants
So-
to juice out every
Yeah.
last bit of it.
And I
you
think
know?
that's also like very symbolic of the thing that I said earlier. You know, he makes eye contact, he makes sure his target's dead, but he already knew this guy was gonna die. So he'll stay and he'll look for a second, kind of like a golf swing. You know how you have to keep your head down, and then you can look up after the club is up here. That's usually what he does. But he looked up and then he took him out. He wanted to see that fear. He wanted to scare him. He let him know, you are my target.
Yeah.
I think that's cool as hell.
Didn't he shoot at him though before he did that?
No, he shot at him after.
He shot at him after.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they lace the movie with little nuances of John Wick is not in his prime. And I think they did that very well. Like prime John Wick, those little wannabe fucking gangsters never would have caught the jump on him and killed his dog and did what they did.
Yeah, I love how they. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're
but
good.
they, when he was like fighting in his house, it showed him out of breath, and he was like huffing, and he was breathing heavy. So you can tell that the years have worn him down. But he still got them all like in a good amount of time though. So that I think that was pretty interesting.
Also, John Wick in his prime would have gotten so fucked up by that one guy in the club. The guy who, like, stabbed him.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, he was already going through this whole club at this
Yeah.
point, right? So, like,
Yeah.
where that guy just probably walked in.
Yeah.
That guy got really lucky. He
That
got
was-
2 shots off on him.
That was Mayhem. That was the Allstate
Was
Mayhem
it
guy.
Mayhem?
Yeah. It
No,
was
that wasn't
Allstate
the
Mayhem.
No,
Allstate
that was a
Mayhem
different guy.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it was.
No, it was a different guy.
Different guy.
You
I forget
sure?
who it was. I'm gonna look up the cast real quick so I can figure out. You guys keep talking, but
About what?
Also, well, I mean,
John
so as you
Wick.
kind of stated before, though,
was
that
saying
this
how
is
it
one of your
wasn't
favorite
his prime.
movies. Like, it's definitely up there. And then, so you also watched this for the first time as well?
Yes,
How'd
I
you feel
literally
about
just
that?
today.
Today.
Yeah, literally
Okay.
today. So as I was watching it, I in the beginning I started and I was kind of doing like other things at first, like while I started it, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this because action movies aren't really my favorite. I like action
What
movies.
kind of movies do you typically watch?
I don't have a specific. I will just if I see a description that I think is interesting, I'll watch it.
Okay, fair.
I just don't. I don't have a favorite genre.
Chick flicks.
Listen, I love a good chick flick, but I'll watch any other movie.
50 First Dates.
But as I was
50-year-old
like,
version.
as I was starting it, I was in the beginning. I was like, okay, does not seem like an action movie because it just showed him like crying and it showed him breaking down. And as it went on, and I was getting done with doing this stuff, I was kind of paying more attention, and I was like, wait a second, this actually has a pretty good plot. And I was thinking like most action movies don't really go into plot very well, and I like the way that they set this up because it was different than other action movies that I have seen in the past. So I think it was a lot better than other things I've seen. So I definitely do like this one. And I will watch the other movie. Sometimes I will be like, I'll see the first one and I won't watch the sequel. But I think I actually enjoyed watching the sequel for this
Mostly
one.
because they had a dog at the end.
Yes. No, but it was pretty good. I definitely enjoyed this movie.
So the guy was Kill Real in the movie. Kill Real. He was like the only person to ever get a shot on John Wick. Like the whole movie.
Yeah. Well,
Crazy.
Vigo kind of got him.
That was the guy he was wrestling with once he got captured, and he had the bag on his head.
Does Vigo count? He's pretty fucked up at that point mentally. He's
Are you
drinking,
talking about at
getting
the end
high.
where they were one-on-one?
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
again-
he let him stab him.
But I think that was like a strategically
Yeah.
genius move too, because he let him stab him where he was already hurt.
Exactly.
So that wound is kind of healed. He's not damaging any other parts of his body. He knows that part is going to keep him safe. That's not detrimental to, his overall,
Yeah.
like, instantly going to die. So he let him stab him there so he could get the upper hand.
Yeah. At first, I was like, "Why would you let him stab you?" But I think it was
It was so he could get the knife.
It was
He could
yes
break
to
his
get
arm.
it and go back at him and get him instead,
Well,
which I
even-
think was pretty good move on his part.
Even then,
Badass.
it's like he could have just shot him dead. He didn't have to do that. So again, it's about respect.
Yeah,
It's about,
the code.
Yeah. I will say, as far as one of my last points, so like the basic premise that I kind of got from this movie was that, like, can a man find redemption, and should a man find redemption when his sins are so vast? Which I would say, like, that's one of, like, the biggest things of this whole thing, right? Because we don't know exactly what he's done. Even if it has been bad guys, it could have been anyone in his way.
Yeah. Can a man
'cause, like,
find redemption?
Him randomly shooting up in a club, I mean, majority of those people you gotta assume are not good, but
Yeah.
maybe, like, a
I
straight
think-
bullet hits someone that's...
But he didn't, though. If you go back and you watch that club scene,
I'm just saying, though, it could have. It's not like he really, like, truly cares all that much. And we don't know what he's done before, especially now that he has more of a code now, we presume, right,
Yeah.
than before.
I definitely think
And a
that he
life is
gained a
still a
lot.
life.
I definitely think he gained a lot of humanity after what happened with him and his wife and everything.
Yeah. And so,
But-
like, a life is a life no matter what, even if the person is bad. So you're still taking out, dozens of men. Like,
Thousands, I'd say.
well, we're...
And the
putting
question
figure.
being, can John Wick be redeemed for his past actions, right?
Like, we ourselves are connecting with him because he has humanity, because he
Yeah.
has a dog. He's not just some killing psychopath,
Mhm.
like Bates Motel or something like that, right? But yeah, I mean, can
Right.
ultimately, at least in the eyes of everyone else, can
in
he have a
reality,
normal life? Can he live this
I
life?
think, yes, people can find redemption for what they've done in the past. But I think the theme that John Wick was pushing, and I don't really agree with it, I don't think, is that there is no redemption for what you've done in the past, and you can't run from the consequences of your past.
Well,
Because if you look back to what Vigo was saying when he
Vigo.
captured him, Vigo, I don't give a fuck, asshole, not you. Basically, he said, "Well, you had your wife, I had my son, and then you left, and the way you got out, lying to yourself that the past held no sway over your future. In the end, a lot of us are rewarded for our misdeeds, and that's why God took your wife." Basically saying that
it was karma.
you tried to get an out from this hell of a life, and what basically happened was God judged you and took your peace because you had to pay for the actions of your past. So while having his wife, he thought he was looking for redemption. It was the opposite. It was him running from his past and past catching up to him.
And I completely agree with that.
I think
That's deep.
I think that's what the theme is of the movie.
I
That's
completely
what the overarching theme.
I completely agree with it though. Like if you do something to that caliber, and like, you know, obviously taking a life is nothing to him. I just looked it up. There's 91 deaths in the first movie.
Oh.
He kills 91 people in that movie. Taking a life is nothing to him.
Well, I mean,
that's
they
like
killed Marcus.
that's like putting on your fucking shoes, bro. But then you look at it, and his wife was everything to him.
Yeah.
That one person was everything to him. So he had the one thing that mattered to him taken from him because of his actions of the past.
Yeah.
You will be judged accordingly, and you get what you deserve in this
Well,
life.
two things.
That's everybody.
His dog too.
Yeah, but that's an extension of his wife.
And
So.
then after he says that, he says, "And unleashed you upon me."
Yeah.
So the things that John Wick had done in the past come to hurt him, right? And then
So like that's
hurt
like
people,
Vigo's
hurt
consequence.
Yeah.
hurt people basically, and it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So Vigo's son comes in, barges in, kills John Wick's dog.
Mm-hmm.
John Wick barges in and murders a whole bunch of people in the Russian syndicate.
91 to be exact.
91, about like 90 or 89, because that Perkins chick died and the dog.
No, like
Marcus.
the count was
Oh,
how
the
many
count for
people
him.
John Wick
Oh,
killed.
So,
yeah.
And then he sets afire all of Vigo's leverage.
Can
And
I-
then
Can I make a quick point on that real quick?
Yeah.
Like 2 seconds. I think that was him killing Vigo before Vigo was killed.
oh yeah, because that completely
that's
fucked
an ego
Vigo.
death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
And
was
then-
really cool.
yeah. He hurt Vigo so badly, and what does Vigo do? He murders one of his only good friends left in the world.
Yeah.
He murders Marcus.
Because it wasn't just money that he burned, right? It was a lot of like blackmail stuff that he
Yeah,
had.
that's
on
what
top.
that's
Yeah.
what Vigo
He had
was
no more
touching
The
on.
leverage.
vicious cycle continued. It continued the whole movie until John Wick whittled Vigo down to himself. He killed everybody. He killed all his henchmen and his flunkies. You know, it was just Vigo left. It was that vicious cycle of them hurting each other until one came out on top.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So that's what I want to talk about.
But
The
I-
vicious cycle.
But I completely agree with like because it's all karma, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Like I said, you get what you deserve in this life. Everything
I
will
think-
come back, and you will get judged.
Yeah, I think that's another theme they were trying to. I think that was another thing they weren't teaching, but they were just exposing almost. Was that you have to break the cycle, you know, because all the ignorance in the world. If we are all ignorant to one another, ignorance begets ignorance. You know, hate begets hate. So if you want to break the cycle, instead of hating, show mercy. You know.
But I also think that's a very good way to show what kind of person that John Wick was.
Yeah,
He wasn't.
John Wick
he
didn't care about
Yeah,
mercy.
he wasn't willing to break that cycle. He was like, like that just shows the rage incarnate that
Yeah.
he is.
You took the joy from my life. I'm going to take your joy.
I'm going to take everything.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about, he took literally everything, and he worked his way up.
And it happened over a couple days. Like Vigo, before any of that happened, it was like, life is good, head of a syndicate, living the good life. And then he gets a phone call saying, your son killed John Wick's dog? And I'm sure at that moment, Vigo's entire life flashed before his eyes.
Yeah, he
You
knew
can
it
you
was
can
over.
see
I
it. You can see
have
it when he's on that rooftop.
Oh
week
yeah,
to
he was
live.
like,
What
he was
was he
like,
doing up
he was
there?
like, oh, and
What was
then
he doing
like,
on the rooftop?
He was just
He
he
called
went to
the
go call.
mechanic.
His balls
called the
shrunk
mechanic.
like twice, like to like half the size they were before that phone call.
oh,
He was just sitting in the chair like, Mama Higa, going to kill me.
But I agree with what Vicky was saying.
Is that
Like
weird?
You were
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
let that
the
hang in the
mechanic
air.
called him, and
No. He called the mechanic.
Oh
The
yeah,
mechanic got a phone call, and he was like, "So you punched my son?"
yeah. I heard you
And
struck
he
my
was like-
son.
He was like, "Yes, I did." And he was like, "Do you want to explain why?" And the mechanic was like, "Oh, well, he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog." And Vigo sat on the phone. He was like this. He took in a minute. He was like, "Oh."
I
think
feel like that was more
realizing-
comical
didn't he just
than
hang up at that
serious.
point?
No,
He
he
was like-
all
he was
he
like-
said was okay,
he
and
said-
then he just
he
hung
said-
up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then he just like, he walked back inside and he was just like, he was like, this is the end of us now.
He knew
Because
he knew it was over.
He knew there's no stopping John Wick. So he was just reeling in everything. So I think it was insane how that happened in how they introduced like how insanely dangerous that John Wick is.
Yeah, what the span of like not even a full week. You know, his wife literally. We watch him literally dealing with the grief of his wife and his dog within a week, and still take down all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the movie starts. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm pretty sure that the movie starts 4 days after the funeral, and then all 3 movies that are out right now happen within 3 or 4 days.
Because like there's still all of his wife's stuff like all laying over like the house and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he still wears his wedding ring up until the 3rd movie. I'm not gonna tell you all what happens.
Man,
but-
stop spoiling it.
Or,
Well,
yeah, watch out. He lives through the second movie.
finds
Yeah.
a new waifu.
no.
Come on.
That's another thing it's not a huge thing, but
John
it's just
Wick 3, no John
it's just
Wick.
another con to the movie. Like, I kind of knew what was going to happen since the beginning of the movie. Like, since like
It is an
since
older
they
movie.
introduced Vigo and Yusuf and what they did, you kind of know what's going to happen. It's an action movie. The main character is a super badass, and he's on a revenge hunt. You know what's going to happen. He's going to kill Yusuf, the guy who killed his dog, and he's going to kill Vigo, his dad. That's what's going to happen.
I would
And I
argue-
knew that since the beginning.
I would argue that if you had no like prior knowledge to the movie at all, you didn't know Vigo was gonna die. Number 1, and number 2.
Maybe not Vigo. but-
Number 2, they still did a fan-fucking-tastic job of keeping you on the edge of your seat through the action movie, even though you knew what was going to happen.
True.
You knew he was
True.
going to get his revenge. You knew that he was going to do this, but you didn't know when, and you didn't know what he was going to do it.
And when
And
it
it
did
kept you
finally
on the
happen,
edge of your seat.
There was that good payoff, right? It was a good payoff, I'd say.
Actually, I disagree with that.
Really?
I feel like the killing of Vigo's son was anticlimactic, and that's a perfect contrast to John Wick. He's not, like, yeah,
He's
he
not
may
very
enjoy the hunt.
ostentatious.
Yeah, he's not this big flashy guy,
Yeah, no,
But-
he kind of just ended it. That was
But
it.
he shot him once. He let him go to say it was just a fucking boom, dead. Like
Yeah, he
didn't talk
He didn't
to
make
him.
it long. He didn't like.
Yeah, he didn't
torture
drag
him
it
or
out.
anything like
Thinking about
that.
it,
He just
he probably didn't want to hear that shit again. Like he's been.
He
was being
just got
told
told
that the
yeah.
entire movie. It's just a fucking car, just a fucking dog. Like, shut up. Dead.
Yeah, but
So-
I think that was a perfect contrast to the entire build-up of the movie, because really, they let the audience down in a good way, and I love that. I love that cinematography because they build it up. The movie's hour 40 minutes. They're building it up the whole movie, and then it just happens, and you're just like, wow, okay, that was quick.
I think that's because the big let go was his fight with Vigo.
Mhm.
That's where he employed John Wick, and I think that's where all of his the hatred kind of got piled onto, and that's why their fight scene was no
More
guns, and they made
climactic.
it more of like a personal kind of fight between them.
More of the apex.
I
of the
love
movie.
the ending. I love the car chase, and Vigo knows he's dead. He knows he's dead.
Yeah, he's just sitting
And
there
he's like,
laughing.
He's a little drunk.
Wow, that was a good one. He hit the car.
He was fucking
again.
crossed.
He
Dude.
was.
And then his right hand man, the Allstate guy, was like, "I need a gun. I need a gun." And then Vigo's handing him a gun. He's like,
Yup.
He's
fucking with him.
toying.
"Gotta be quicker than that."
He knows it's
And
the
he's
end.
like-
He knows he's dead.
he gets the gun finally. He's like Russian cocksucker, and then Allstate guy's dead.
Yeah.
So,
So-
overall,
One of the best
now
movies
that
ever.
we've talked
Don't even
about
try
the
me.
movie in depth, let's rate the movie. What do you rate it, Mason? What do you rate John Wick?
Well, what's our rating system?
I'd say let's do
1
it
to
out
10.
of 10. 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10.
10 being best.
IGN 1 out of 10.
Who makes 1 being best? Hang on. Who makes 1 the best? That's
I've
just-
seen
Hey,
it.
I
I've
just,
seen it.
I just
This
like
isn't
clarification. Okay, jeez.
Okay, so 10 is the best. 1 is the worst.
You want to ask my opinion on it?
You go first.
Well, we're getting everyone's
1 to
opinion.
10.
I'd give it a solid 8.59.
Okay.
8.59.
8.5
Very
to a 9.
specific.
All right, Xavier.
What about
Oh, I thought you meant like 8.59.
you? No. What?
8.59.
I'm gonna say, I don't know. I'm gonna give it like
6, 7, 5.
8 applesauces out of 9 cats.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
What's
Okay.
Very
the,
good
what's the
rating
conversion
system.
between applesauce and cats?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Vicky,
1 out of 10.
We're on the
Okay.
same wavelength.
what do you think?
I think I'm gonna go on like with Mason. I think it was a solid 8.5, maybe 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. That's definitely that movie was great. I definitely give it a 9. 9 out of 10.
I want to give it an 8, but I keep focusing on all the. I can't help it. I just keep nitpicking. All
Which
those little
sure,
things.
completely.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Everyone has
give
their
us
own
give us
opinion.
some nitpicks though.
Like I said, like knowing what's going to happen, doesn't give you as much tension. Even though they do delay it and it ends on
Well-
the terms that John Wick wants it to end, on an anticlimactic ending, killing Yosef. But all these other little things, like Keanu Reeves' acting wasn't like amazing, despite like
I'll hold him back.
So yeah, I like the action. Acting was okay.
What about the
The
big
plot-
buff dude that
plot
came out of the
develop-
pool?
Oh, I loved that part.
I'm sure you did.
Bod,
Oh, dude,
bro.
for sure.
Impressive bod.
Not like that.
Oh yeah, impressive.
Okay,
what
so
I'm
what's
saying.
your rating? Stop
I'll
like
give it
fantasize.
What
What's
would
your
you
rating?
rate it?
I'll give it like a 7.8 out of 10.
All right, so
Okay.
we're cutting it right before he said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So round it up, I'd say, MediaMix
Keep
rates
it all in.
John Wick like 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say about an 8. That
8 out of
balances
10.
it out.
No, it's probably like an 8.5 because we all
Yeah.
you guys said 8.5. I said 9. You said 8. So it's definitely like an
Yeah.
8.5.
Okay, yeah.
It's like
8.5?
8.5 out of 10.
With some applesauce.
Some
Sauce on the
applesauce.
side. I guess I can do the outro.
Yeah, I
like,
mean Nick technically
thanks-
did the intro.
Thanks
so-
for watching. If you like what you see here, please drop a like. And if you want to see more of our content, consider subscribing. We're working on getting other social media platforms set up. So
We're gonna
in the
try
coming
and
episodes. Yeah.
What a
We get that set
professional.
up, we'll link those. And make sure to follow us on like Rumble, Instagram, Twitter if we get that going.
Yep.
Any other streaming services. Like iTunes. I don't know if we'll be on iTunes.
Yeah, and we're gonna try and upload at least once a week for now. And
Yeah.
if you guys really like the content,
picks
we're gonna
up.
keep going, and we're gonna probably, we're gonna see if we can upload 2-3 times a week. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in and listening to us rant on about this movie, and hope you all have a great day.
All right. Peace out.